Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today we have the new Tier 8 Premium British Heavy Cruiser, the Hampshire, in port to review for you guys today. This ship is currently available in one of two ways. One of three ways actually. You can complete the Around the World, a Voyage Around the World missions to acquire 35 tokens to potentially get her, or you can purchase the tokens in the armory to potentially get her in the random bundles, or you could purchase this ship outright for $98 via the Admiral bundle in the premium shop. This review is made possible by the support of the channel's Patreons. I am not a CC, nor affiliated with Wargaming in any way, shape, or form, so the donations from these generous Patreons make this review and all premium ship reviews possible. So massive shout out to those guys. Patreon is the best place to support the channel, besides watching the videos and streams. So the Hampshire, what is this? Well, according to the description, this is a further development of the Surrey class of cruiser. Basically, they slapped this third turret you see in the front on. So now you have 10 203mm guns at Tier 8. Also, as always, the model looks excellent. With all the graphical upgrades and such, as you can hear my computer chugging along in the background to keep up with it. The ship models keep looking better and better, as does the game. So this is potentially a free Tier 8 Premium, as in the armory right now. If you do go to the Voyage Around the World section, you can see that the random bundles are located right down here. And I was lucky enough to get the Hampshire on my second random bundle. Now, the cool thing about that is you can purchase 3 of these navigator tokens, which you need to exchange in the random bundle to get the bundle. You can get 3 of these completely for free via 10 million credits. So I bought 3 of these before. I was going to buy like maybe 5 to see if I would get lucky and get the Hampshire early on, but I got it on the second bundle, so this is a ship we managed to pick up completely for free, and I'm glad that we did. More on that when we get to the gameplay review section. But yeah, so you can potentially get this ship for free, and it is essentially a free Tier 8 premium ship if you do the campaign. So, the Hampshire. This is... I have played it. We played it quite a bit on stream last night, as you can tell. But before I start talking about her, let's go ahead and go through her stats. I'll show you the build that I was running on her for the roughly 2 hours we played her on stream or so, and subsequent battles thereafter. We'll go over what she's like to play, go over her quirks and features, and then give her a score. So let's go ahead and look at her stats, shall we? So starting out, economic bonuses, you do get the standard Tier 8 permanent economic bonus with the Hampshire. These, of course, are just the other bonuses I am running on the ship at the moment, which you do get quite a few of these in the random bundles if you do buy through them to get the ship. Her camouflage, this is the camouflage she comes equipped with, which is just the default camo. It's a pretty nice looking camo. Looks very British. Pretty in line with the other British camos that we've seen. For her armor, she has a 25mm bow, 27mm midsection, 25mm stern, 25mm stern deck, 25mm bow deck, 30mm mid deck, and this is her citadel right here with 152mm of armor. Strip away everything else, and as you can see, the citadel is high and dry, like I just showed you guys, and very exposed. A very British layout, if you will. Alright, tucking those back away. For survivability, she has 37,600 hit points, with a 7% torpedo protection damage reduction. Her gun, she does get the 10-203s like I mentioned in the intro section. They reload in 10.5 seconds base, have a 180-degree turn time with 22.5 seconds base, maximum dispersion of 149 meters base, and a maximum range of 16.8 kilometers. Her AP does a maximum damage of 4,350, and the AP comes up the tubes at 884 meters a second. And no, your eyes are not deceiving you. There is not any HE on the Hampshire. It's a pure AP boat. It does get the improved ricochet angles, so it does have that going for it. I do believe it is the improved ricochet angles of the light cruiser tech line. So basically a really big Minotaur if you want to look at it like that. She has 12 of the 102mm secondaries. No, she's not a secondary boat. This is more of just dual purpose AA here. Torpedoes. She gets 2x4 of the 533s. The tube's 180 in 7.2 seconds. They have a reload of 96 seconds. Torpedo range of 10 kilometers. Maximum damage of 15,533. The torpedoes travel at 62 knots, and they're detectable from 1.3 kilometers away. She gets 2 charges of the airstrike. She has an AA rating of 69, which isn't great. She has 4 of the single-mounted 20mm Oerlikons, 18 of the dual-mounted 20mm Oerlikons, 4 of the quad-mounted Vickers, glorious, glorious pom-poms, 4 of the octuple-mounted Vickers, more glorious, glorious pom-poms, and then the 6x2 102s. Maneuverability, her top speed is 30 knots, space, 710 meters turning circle, a 9.8 second rudder shift time, base as well. Concealment base is 12 kilometers. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and slap my commander module build on the Hampshire, and I'll meet you guys right back here. Silly Sealord, I forgot to show you guys the modules and the consumables. So, she does get a choice of spotter or fighter. She gets DFAA, hydroacoustic search, and then damage con. She's active for 5 seconds and recharge in 60 seconds. Hydro goes out to 5 kilometers, and yes, again, your eyes are not deceiving you. There is no heal here. More on that in a minute. Alright, so now the commander build, I went with Last Stand, so that when our engine and rudder inevitably gets knocked out, because this is a cruiser, a tier 8 cruiser, they will still operate at reduced capacity. Then I went with Priority Target, so we know how many enemies are aiming at us and how much we need to dodge. Then I went with Adrenaline Rush. Well, you can take Adrenaline Rush, or you can also take Survivability Expert here as your first 3-point skill. I'll probably take Survivability Expert, because this gives you another 450 HP per tier. Then I would go with Adrenaline Rush to give you that boost to your reload time as you take damage. Then I would most definitely take Concealment Expert as my first 4-point skill. Coming back around, I would most definitely grab Heavy AP Shells. This is just free damage here, 5% boost to your damage per shell. And then Top Grade Gunner, which gives us an 8% boost to reload time when there's an enemy ship within our spotting range. And then finally come back for Grease the Gears to keep those turrets nice and quick. So now, for the modules, I went with Main Armaments Mod 1, because we really need those main battery guns to stay in the fight. Then I went with Engine Room Protection to reduce the chance of our engine or our steering gears getting knocked out, and also increases the repair time by 20%. Then Aiming Systems Mod 1 to rein in that dispersion a little bit more. Then Steering Gears Mod 1 because you cannot fit Propulsion Mod 1. So if we're going to be juking, we need to use our rudder as much as possible. And then Concealment Systems Mod 1 to get our detection range down even more. So now we have, for our hit points, 41,200 hit points. For the guns 180 in 19.6 seconds now and have maximum dispersion of 138 meters. And the AP is now doing 4,568 maximum damage. We are now going 31.5 knots with the speed flag, and the rudder shifts in 7.8 seconds now. And concealment is now down to 9.7 kilometers, which is much better than 12. Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead, throw a matchup for you guys to watch while I talk about what it's like to play the Hampshire, and if it's worth the time grinding out the event, or the money, because this ship will be coming on sale like normal in 2023. But for now, it's only available in the random bundles, or the, no, actually, no, it's only available in the random bundles. You have to get the tokens either through the event or by purchasing them in the armory. So I'll meet you guys there in a second. Alright guys, voiceover Mountbatten here, and don't. Just don't. This ship is not worth your time. It is not worth your money. This is... and on stream I said this. This is the only ship in this game that made me want to play Tiger 59. I do not know how, why, or what reasoning was given to okay the release of this ship. This has got to be one of the most absolutely miserable ships to play. There's some really neat ideas going on here, and the conclusion that I came to, that most of chat came to last night, is that there's just something a little bit missing from this ship to make her a decent ship. So if you're wondering, any other tier 8 premium British cruiser I would recommend over this. I recommend pretty much all the other British premium cruisers over this ship. Even the Tiger 59, because the Tiger 59 has a heel, and it's got radar. It's got the tools that it needs to survive as being a tier 8 British cruiser in today's matchmaking. It's got the tools it needs to survive. The Hampshire doesn't. It is incredibly frustrating to play a ship that's coated in 25 millimeters of armor, which means, of course, every battleship you see that isn't, like the Odin or the Scharnhorst or the battleships with below average gun caliber for their tier can overmatch you. And if you've been playing this game for long enough to have shot at a British cruiser and hit a British cruiser, you guys know how easy it is to completely wipe out these things' health. Which is why, starting from quite low down in the tech line, these cruisers have heals. Super heals in most cases, where they can print back most of their ship after getting vibe checked by a battleship or another cruiser that got a lucky shutoff. The Hampshire doesn't have that. You have nothing. You don't have smoke. You don't have radar. You don't have a heal. You do have good concealment. You have pretty darn good maneuverability. But that's about it when it comes to staying alive. Now, of course, the concealment can be worked in various ways to make your life extend far beyond what it should when there's no CVs, there's no submarines, and there's no cheeky DDs around. Now, of course, when there's no CVs and no submarines, you'll pretty much have the ability to decide when you want to get in a fight and when you don't. But when there are CVs and submarines, which is quite often now, especially in Tier 8, because Tier 8 you get to see CVs all the way down to Tier 6, and CVs all the way up to Tier 10. Same with submarines. You can see submarines all the way down to the Tier 6 subs, all the way up to the Tier 10 subs. So there's plenty of subs and CVs to be dumped into your matchmaking queue when you get in. So there's a very good chance that your detection, if the CV or the submarine decides to go on your flank, is going to be null and void. So, yeah. Now, it's not all bad news. It's just, I'm very frustrated because, again, this ship is so close to being a decent premium. Or, heck, even a good one, if given a couple of buffs here and there, mainly with the addition of some type of heal or like a smokescreen. So, let me run you through the ship now that we're talking about her in game. So, starting off with her armor. Like I said, it's a British cruiser. It's going to get vibe checked by something with medium to large sized guns. It's going to happen. And when it does happen, again, you don't have the ability to recover your HP. Hit pool, I mean, it's about right for a tier 8 cruiser. It's nothing spectacular. It's nothing terribad. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's more than like you get with the Belfast, which is a light cruiser. But that's about it. and that is with survivability expert on my commander too. The guns are really the sweet spot, the sweet point in this ship. It apparently had to give up the ability to heal, the ability to smoke, the ability to have radar for these guns. Now they are 230mm guns, which is very nice in and of themselves. And you get 10 of them, which is a lot of firepower for a cruiser to have. And they do get the improved ricochet angles, which is very nice because you can actually do damage to cruisers and battleships that otherwise your little 2 or 3 shells would simply bounce off of their armor because they're angled enough to you. They have to be really steeply angled to negate these shells with those improved ricochet angles. And again, you get 10 of them. And the dispersion's really good, even by cruiser standards. The shells pretty much go where you aim at, which is great. Which they darn well should with how much you give up to get these guns on this ship. Now, the reload time, 10 seconds, it does feel a little bit on the long side, especially considering the ship doesn't have HE, and this is going to be your main source of dealing damage. If they had given it maybe like an 8.5 or a 9-second reload time, I think that would have been a little bit better, especially again considering this thing does not have a heal. But yeah, the AP is good. I wish it fired a little bit faster, and it's very accurate. That sums up the guns for me. Like, you will be chunking other cruisers easily for like 5 or 6k, and that's with missing a lot of the shots. When the shots land, you're going to be chunking them for like 13, 15, 16k, especially, of course, if you Citadel them, which isn't hard to do with 230mm guns at Tier 8, because there's plenty of cruisers, light cruisers and heavy cruisers, that you will meet that if they slip up and show you their side, you are going to absolutely obliterate them. Against battleships, it's going to be excellent at chunking the upper belt, the extremities, of course, with the improved ricochet angles, and if you're close enough, the main belt too, you can get in there, punch that, get some nice juicy damage on those battleships. Destroyers, with how accurate the guns are, even though she doesn't have HE, with of course 10 203mm shells being thrown at any D that's going to sell in a straight line long enough for you to hit them, you're going to wreck them. You're going to evaporate like a third of their health, if not a half of their health, as long as most of those shells connect. Dealing with DDs wasn't a tough thing to do in this ship at all, even though it doesn't have HE. I mean, the Minotaur doesn't have HE either, and it absolutely eats DDs alive. So the guns are very good. They also have very good angles, very good rear-facing angles. This ship is very good at kiting. Very, very, very good at kiting. And that was really the only thing that she was able to do consistently well when we were playing her. In main part due to those excellent gun angles. You don't have to show a large amount of your side to get your guns off. So you're still going to get chunked, but it's not going to be as devastating as if you had to show your side to get those forward-facing guns off. Also, the B and C turrets in the front, before all my British friends get angry, can 360, which is excellent when it comes to facing the rear, at least. Well, turret 2 can 360, turret B can 360, turret C is already facing rearward, so when you are having to kite and you're having to do a lot of dancing, which you have to do in order to not get vibe checked in the ship, those two turrets will be right there and on target with the two rear turrets. Turret A in the front does have to take the long way around, but again, you have 8 of your 10 guns ready to go when you are kiting, which is excellent. The torpedoes are also pretty darn good for kiting too. You can stealth torp in this thing if you do the concealment build, which I would highly recommend. And many a time, if a ship is 12 or 13 kilometers away from you, as long as they're pushing into you consistently, go ahead, dump those torps in the water. She can do the single drops and just ruin their day. Although if a ship is that close to you and it's a battleship, you better hope to have some friends around so that they have something else to shoot at besides you. Because if they decide to shoot at you, you're pretty much dead. So, yeah. Ah, man, this ship she's something. AA, you get DFAA, that's the only time it's even really usable. Definitely have an AA friend to go sail along with. Maneuverability, with the rudder mod on like I'm running, she does turn very well in the water line, and very well in the water, and that's about the only thing that kept me alive for most of my time playing this ship, is the fact that this is an excellent dancer. Other than that, maneuverability, speed isn't that great, 31.5 knots. Most of the battleships that you can see when you get up tier can run you down, which is kind of awkward to be in a cruiser. Really awkward situation to be in. So yeah, she's slow, but she turns well. So be keeping that in mind if you do have the ship and do wind up playing her. Concealment, excellent, 9.7 kilometers. Like I said, that 9.7 kilometer concealment is what definitely saves this ship from being just completely unplayable. It's still a miserable time in my opinion, but that is a massive upside for this ship. So all that on one ship with the Hampshire, I still wouldn't recommend it. It's miserable to play because yes, you have 203mm guns. Yes, you get the improved ricochet angles, but like, oh, man, you're a tier 8 cruiser with a notoriously squishy hull that's going to be constantly up tier to at least tier 9 in a lot of tier 10 games, and you don't have any way to recover your health at all. And you don't have HE. All you have is AP. So you can't start any fires. When you up to tier 10, your 230mm guns, which is on the larger side for tier 8, are now just run-of-the-mill guns for tier 10, and small by a lot of the gun calibers we're getting on a lot of tier 10 cruisers now standards. But yeah, so when you're at tier 8, she's a lot more workable. She's still frustrating to use because, again, there's plenty of tier 8 battleships which can simply overmatch your bow and stern armor and remove a third of your health because you goofed up one time, and now you can't do anything. You have to play it very passively in the back, and she does have good gun velocities, but the arcs are very high and very floated like the American arcs. Not as floaty, but it does certainly feel like it's in the same ballpark as the American shell arcs. And you do have the spotter. The spotter will get you out to 20 kilometers, which is a very long range to have on this ship, and is where you're going to be playing a lot of this ship at, given how unsurvivable this ship is. And yeah, she's definitely a kiter. Go to the off flank, run away from the enemy team, throw a bunch of AP in their face, but then they're going to battle tank you, and I have to try and, dunk the shells behind the turrets. And, because you're just going to bounce off the turrets or bounce off the bow. Oh, man. If they gave this ship just a little something more, this would have been a pretty good tier 8 premium. Either a bit faster reload time, a smoke, a heal, any one of those things I think would have made this ship a pretty decent premium. But they didn't. They didn't at all. You could have done, the ricochet angles from the light cruisers with the gun caliber of the heavy cruisers, with the smoke of the light cruisers. It could have been a nice little mix of British light and heavy cruiser line here in this ship, but they didn't do that, and we got this instead, which is a ship that, again, I don't think it's worth the grind. It's not really worth doing the campaign, and it's certainly not worth the money, in my opinion. Again, any other British premium cruiser, except maybe the Tiger 59, is better than this thing, in my opinion. So, overall, I'd give the ship a 4 out of 10. It's miserable to play, it's frustrating to play, it's just in a bad spot matchmaking-wise, and it's not worth the time or the money to get. The pros being that she does have 203mm guns, she does have 10 203mm guns with excellent rear turret angles, and turret 2 can 360 to keep it in the fight. She does get the improved AP pin angles, and she does have an excellent consumption of 9.7 kilometers and a very fast rudder shift time when you build into it. And her acceleration is pretty darn good as well. And of course, she gets DFAA and Hydro and Fighter or Spotter, depending upon what you want to take there. Cons being, it's a British cruiser hull, incredibly squishy hull. You don't have a heal to recover any of the damage that you take, and you don't have any tools to help you survive beyond your good concealment. You don't have any smoke, you don't have any radar. And it's just such a massive downside that a tier 8 cruiser with this type of hull is just left with nothing to recoup any of its health with, or any other tools beyond just very good concealment. And don't get me wrong, very good concealment can work in many a case, but you just don't have HE. Man, it's just not worth it, guys. I had a miserable time playing this ship on stream last night, as I'm sure most of you that were there witnessed. And again, it's a hard pass. Save your money, save your time to work on something else. So guys, let me know what you guys think about the Hampshire in the comments down below. If you were lucky enough to either get her for free, or if you did pick her up for cash, let me know what you think about her now. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 40,000 subs, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you all have a wonderful Saturday, have a wonderful weekend. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.